always like talking to interesting people here on the Fight app, and this gentleman is certainly no exception. Tomas Yu is the president of the World MMA Association. If you like letters, folks, that's the WMMAA, and also founded the organization. Half Korean, half Mexican. We were chatting about that before in the air, Tomas. A first for me, and I welcome you to our app, and I am excited to talk about this big event coming up in Chile. Thanks for being with us.
Good afternoon, Jim. It's a pleasure for me to be here. You're absolutely right. You don't get to meet a lot of half Koreans, half Mexicans out there, especially who come or speak Spanish fluently like we do out here.
That's outstanding. I am envious. We're talking from Albuquerque, and I know one thing about Albuquerque: green chili.
We just can't get enough of it.
Can't get enough of the green chili. You are a lifelong practitioner of martial arts. Tell us about your own martial arts background before we start talking about your big event coming to Chile.
Martial arts have been in a big portion of my life growing up since I can remember. 5 years old, studying Taekwondo all the way to becoming a black belt in Mexico. And back then, you could not, I believe now too, you can't not be a black belt in Taekwondo until you were 18 years of age. Make sure you were, mature enough to hold that type of degree. And over the years, we practiced other martial arts to be a more well-rounded athlete, but at the same time be more well-rounded as self-defense. So we practiced some judo, some aikido, and obviously some boxing. And throughout those years, I still remember fighting with my mom, so that they would allow me to watch UFC back in the late 90s.
Well, it sounds like it's in your blood. It sounds like it's your passion. And you created the World MMA Association. I was kidding about the WMMAA. We're all in the letters these days. But tell us, what is this organization for those that may not know, and why is it significant to those that do follow and enjoy MMA?
A couple years back, we had the privilege of knowing the late president, Don Jose Suleiman, back in the WBC. And during our conversations with him, we go back 2 generations in my family with the Suleiman family. My question to him was, who was the equivalent body to the WBC in MMA, right? And his first response, like everybody else's, would be the UFC. And the lack of knowledge back then was that the UFC was the largest sanctioning body there would be. And that's a big error. But the UFC is a great promoting company, and it's equivalent to Golden Boy Promotions in the boxing world. So when that sit down in Don Jose Suleiman's head, he goes, well, I'll be darned. So the next question to him was, if I form an organization that is similar to the WBC, but that governs and sanctions the world of MMA, would he give me the blessings to use his name? And the answer was, of course, you build it, and we'll give you the blessing to use WBC MMA division, right? So the next couple of months, I want to say close to 18 months of working and creating platforms and financial analysis and so forth on the organization, right? We actually came up with the World MMA Council to mimic the WBC. And unfortunately, when we were about to tell the world that we're going to partner up, right, he got very ill, and a couple of weeks afterwards, he passed away, right? And that was very unfortunate on our side. So during that process, the WBC had a lot of dust in the air still. His son Mauricio was getting back on the saddle, right? And there was just a lot of things to be handled besides MMA at that point. So we decided to shake hands and part friends at the moment, and I'm talking about late 2013, early 2014. And since we went on our own, we made a ginormous scouting process to get sanctioning bodies, governing bodies, commissions around the world, and see who was interested to becoming one entity in real global presence. So with that said, there was an organization by the name of World MMA Association, which that's the one we are merged today. We merged into one really big organization. 2 years ago, we were around maybe 30 some countries in presence. Today, we're a little bit over 67 countries where we govern the sport of MMA as the largest or the highest authority in the sport in those countries.
That's outstanding. Now, we're talking amateur MMA, correct?
Absolutely. Our platform has amateur MMA and professional MMA.
Okay.
But like in any sport, in any culture, in any government, or when you try to change a current platform to a senior, for example, in education, it's going to be impossible. You start with the rookies, you start with the first graders, with the kindergartens, and our platform by far is the best platform for amateurs out there. Since MMA is not an Olympic sport, we created the Olympics for MMA, and this will be our fourth year celebrating the World Championships. This year will be in Macau. It is also the last year in 2015 we had 41 countries participate representing their countries with teams of 8 males and 2 females in Czech Republic last year.
Awesome. That's great growth. There's an interest. We know that it's just amazing that so many parents are starting their kids in MMA programs in a variety of disciplines. It reminds me of when soccer first became popular in the United States. And people said, well, is it going to stick? Is it going to grow? And we've seen it grow immensely. Now we're seeing certainly the same thing in MMA, that people are starting their kids in that early. It's a very honorable, it's a great thing to get your kids involved, because, when I was a kid growing up, we had Little League Baseball. That's pretty much it. And
right.
Now there's options. And I think options are good for everybody.
Absolutely. I'm a proud father of an 8-year-old daughter, right? And there wouldn't be any other sport that I would have her practice besides MMA. Now, the what we see on the capital environment of MMA, it's a show that what we see. But mixed martial arts is just a mixture of single martial arts. And if you dissect, any individual martial art, from Taekwondo, Kung Fu, Judo, Aikido, you separate them. They all have a common denominator, right? And there's actually a couple of them. And the first one would be respect, honor, right? Loyalty, discipline. And I remember myself, like any other person who's practiced any martial arts, that we were taken to practice the martial art for everything else except knowing how to fight, right? It was precisely for those principles of being respectful, respect your parents, respect your elders, respect your body, be disciplined, right? So for all those nature and principles, that's what we went to practice martial arts, not for the art of fighting, right? Over the course of years, there's becoming the sport of fighting, which is what we call now MMA.
Right.
But I believe that those principles is something that we need to promote to not just our kids, but any kid around the world. And fortunately enough, martial arts or MMA, it goes through language barriers. It goes through cultural barriers. It doesn't matter where I go. If I lift my hands up anywhere in the world, they know exactly what I want, right?
That's amazing. Well, I love the fact that respect is a great common denominator among other great traits. But I'm a big fan of mentoring, coaching, leadership. And I think that there's not enough mentors and coaches, life coaches, in our society. And I'm really excited and happy of the work that you're doing. And I know that you're excited about, you're going to have 2 big events on the Fight app that the fans can enjoy for free, as a matter of fact. If they have a smart device, they know, and Wi-Fi, they're in the hunt. So your events of October the 8th, Saturday, October 8th, and Sunday, October the 9th, live from Chile on the Fight app. Going to be free on the app. Tell us about those events. If somebody's tuning in, Tomas, for the first time, what can they expect to see? Give us a little, be our GPS and kind of guide us through what you're going to be doing on that weekend.
Absolutely. Let me start with saying how excited we are to be able to partner up with the Fight app and allowing viewers around the world to see what mixed martial arts is truly the discipline or the sport behind a lot of youth. October 7th, 8th, and 9th is the first Pan American Championship for amateur MMA in the history of MMA. So this event will be hosting 15 countries in the Americas, from Canada, the U.S., Mexico, all the way to Chile. They have done their own national tournament. They came out with the best amateur fighters, 8 male weight divisions and 2 female weight divisions, to a total sum of 10 fighters per country. So on the 8th, we're going to be doing the tournament where 150 athletes will be participating, representing their country to see who is the best amateur MMA athlete in the continent.
Amazing. Will that be a single elimination tournament, Tomas, or round robin competition? How do you structure your tournament?
Right now, it's a single elimination, right, all the way to semifinals, and the finalists are actually a undercard of a pro event. So Sunday the 9th, you cannot miss the finals because they are not, they're no second tier to a pro promotion. They're beautiful. These athletes are the best in the continent, and by far it's an event that you have to be there to experience.
It's a fascinating concept, and one that someday I would love to stick my toe in the water and say, hey, I'll raise my hand to be on this broadcast team, because it's such a beautiful story. And there's so many life lessons that can be shared with the viewership, notwithstanding the fact that it's amazing athleticism and the disciplines are so precise. It's just truly exciting to think about it. Now, I'm told that the format, single elimination, I'm also told that the president of Chile is going to be involved in the opening and the closing ceremonies.
Absolutely. The president of the nation, President Michelle, she's going to be there in the open ceremony, addressing the participants, addressing the world about how important it is to promote this type of principles among youth, regardless if it is or it's not approved by the IOC.
Wow, it's just so you got how many fighters will be in your tournament total? 150?
Approximately 150.
Wow, that's awesome. And from how many countries do you expect on this tournament?
15 different countries and still counting. So we might have a little bit more.
Wow, that's great. Well, I think it's just absolutely phenomenal. It's certainly an idea that's time has come. It's one of those great ideas, Tomas, that where some of us that are fans can sit back and say, "Gosh, why didn't I think of that? That's a great idea." So your vision is spot on, and we wish you the very best. And again, folks, you can watch it for free. You can't beat that. The app is free. To watch this great competition, heck, it reminds me of the Olympics.
Absolutely.
It's got an Olympic feel because of the international flavor, and you'll see these young athletes, male and female. So it's a great event for the whole family. October the 8th and 9th on the Fight app. And Tomas, we wish you the very best of luck. You've got a great concept. You're an honorable man, and good things are going to happen to your organization. I'm certain of it. And I will certainly be watching. I'm very intrigued by this concept, and I want to see this. I love tournaments because, man, it's every match is almost sudden death. You win and you advance, you lose and you set down type thing.
Absolutely, Jim. We appreciate you the partnership. We have great support because the way that we're presenting the sport. We have great support from ministers of sports, ministers of tourism, ministers of education. Right. We even have foreign ministers of national defense supporting the event. So we're looking forward to it. We're looking to make an impact in our youth. Right. And that for sure society needs a little bit of influence of better principles in our youth nowadays.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more and support you wholeheartedly. Is there a website if somebody wanted to check out a website to get more information?
Absolutely. WMMAA.org. World Mixed Martial Arts Association.org.
WMMAA. That's
yes.
2 M's and 2 A's, folks. WMMAA.org. Check that out. Bookmark it. Check it out and learn more about this amazing organization. And join us, folks, right here on the Fight app the weekend of October the 8th and 9th. That's a Saturday and Sunday, free from Chile. It's going to be a great event. And, Tomas, thank you so much for your time. And we're fully supportive of your event. And anything we can do to help you, we certainly are here to do so.
Thank you, Jim. Happy Monday.
Thank you, sir.